Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
How you doing?
And welcome to Jesus. Hello, and welcome to a Star Steel by Star Trek podcast. My name's Jake, and joining me today are...
Chris?
Something's wrong with this communications relay.
Sorry, I get thrown off when we're remote.
This is Ames.
This is Caitlin, making you an offer you can't refuse.
Oh, Jiminy Jesus.
I'm very confused.
I don't know where that one... I don't know how that tied in.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the voice you were doing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was trying to make a mafia voice.
Like a gangster voice?
Don't listen.
Now, here we are in the Delta Quadrant. Ay.
Forget about it. Is that better?
Sure. No, this is the Star to Steer Her By, the Star Trek podcast, episode number 287.
No.
74.
Not even close, Hank.
That's the one I was aiming for.
Sure.
274, which also happens to be an even number. So
That's true.
there you go.
When you're right, you're right.
Most of the time when I do the intros, it's uneven numbers. Conspiracy or not? I don't know. We'll find out.
What does
later.
QAnon have to say?
We'll ask. What? Yeah, I wonder what. So QAnon with their whole like numbers are words thing. I wonder what 274 means. It probably means Jesus or something. Find out. Let us know. Write in www.com. All right, here we go.
Wow, this whole thing has been cuttable so far.
Much of it, yeah.
Shut up. It's great. This is fun. Listen, Jake, as he does every week, is creating art.
This is art, man.
It's not his fault that you fucking
art.
plebes don't get it.
You don't understand.
You guys don't fucking grok, okay?
Yeah. But speaking of grok,
were we?
I guess so. This week we'll be talking about 2 new episodes of Star Trek Into Voyager. The first episode is The Message of a Bottle, and followed by Hunters. In Message of the Bottle,
Genie in a bottle.
In Genie in a Bottle, you got to rub me the
right way. Yeah.
Hey.
Hot.
Yeah, so the Voyager is out tooling about the galaxy as they like to do, and they happen upon something a little funny, some kind of relay station, or I don't know, something. 7 and 9 identifies it. It's like a bunch of little like bubbles in space, and it's like a network, like the internet. And they find out that it's huge, and
so it's like a series of tubes.
It's like a series of tubes,
right.
And they find one of the tubes in the Delta expanse, and they find that there's more tubes in the Alpha area. So they tool up to this thing and like, it's like a communications network. So if we pump our guy into this side, he'll pop out the other side, just like the internet. So they're like, how do we make use of this? So Janeway's like, let me make a phone call. There's a Star Trek ship on the other side, so let me call them. So she calls them and says, hey, this is Captain Janeway. I'm on the Voyager. What up, homies? And then there's a response, and it's hey, wait, homies. And so it turns out it's just repeating back. Like remember those little there was a parrot, I think, that you'd say a word and you'd press the button and then it would repeat it back to you in like a parody voice.
Yes, I actually do remember that.
A little electronic toy. It was kind of like that. So it turns out this communication array was bullshit and didn't work. End of story. Not. Turns out, while we can't get a very fucking simple voice message through, we can absolutely get the much more complex and irreplaceable doctor through.
Yay!
So let's do that instead. So the doctor gets recruited to do this away mission, and everyone's like, hey, doctor, by the way, there's like a 99.9% chance that you're just going to disappear into this network and we'll never, ever see you again.
Luckily, Paris is a doctor now.
Yeah, so now, and Tom Paris will just have to be the doctor. So that'll be hilarious.
Well, I mean, he does cure heartburn.
And the doc's like, you know what? I'll do it. I'll take one for the team. So he beams down through the network and he lands on this other Star Trek ship. And he's in sick bay because he's a hologram and that's where they live. He's in sick bay and he's looking around. He's like, there's nobody home. Hello, hello. And then he looks around. He's like, oh shit, there's dead people. And he asks one of the dead people and he's like, oh, Romulans. And then he dies again.
It's just gas escaping.
Yeah, it's gas escaping.
Woo!
So the doctor's like, oh shit. Whatever ship I'm on has gotten romulated. And so he wakes up the EMH on that ship, but it ain't just like looking in a mirror because instead he's looking at a dick. Andy Dick. So we meet the EMH Mach 2 or Mark 2, not Mach 2. That's a different thing. This is the EMH Mark 2.
So we meet Mark.
Mark 2.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
And it's Andy Dick, as portrayed by Andy Dick. And then we have kind of like, a buddy cop, odd couple sort of thing going on where they're bickering, but they're also trying to take back the ship from the Romulators. Oh, also the ship goes into like this special attack mode because it turns out what actually is going on is we're on the HMS Prometheus, which is this new prototype vessel. We've talked about it in a previous show, I think.
Oh yeah, check out our blogtivities at sshbpodcast.com.
.com.
And it splits, so this ship splits into 3 parts, and then the 3 parts like autonomously can go out and kill other ships. So yeah, so the Romulans are trying to steal the ship. They killed the whole crew, and they're trying to get back to Romulan space, but the Doctor and the other Doctor have other plans, and those plans involve killing the Romulans with gas. So they do
As
that.
plans go, it's not a bad one.
It's not a bad plan. We find out that long speculated by us that the Doctor did have to reprogram himself to give himself a big dick.
The biggest dick.
That is now
the
canon.
Andiest dick.
I was gonna say, is his dick as big as Andy Dick?
Well, Andy Dick's dick isn't a dick because he doesn't have those upgrades yet. So
It's got Ken doll down there.
TYL.
Sex.
So Andy Dick's a little jealous of the Doctor because he's had more life experience, but at the same time, Andy Dick's also very much confident in his superiority as the upgraded model. So,
Which imagine picking Andy Dick for the superior model of anything,
right?
Like maybe if the first model was literal dog shit, you could be like, "Wow, Andy Dick, what an upgrade!" Like,
I mean, at
he
least,
smells a little better too.
As NewsRadio,
as John Lovett once said, punches him in the face.
I was gonna say, as NewsRadio cast members go, he's probably the second worst you could go. I mean, obviously Joe Rogan is at the very bottom.
I don't know.
Of that
Where do you
list.
rank Kathy Griffith?
She's probably right above Dick. And then you get those that's bottom. There's nobody in the middle on that show. That's the thing. Like it's either bottom tier or top tier. Because then you get the Stephen Roots, Phil Hartman,
Dave Foley.
Love him.
Actually, the woman. Who was the woman? She was in the middle. I think. I can't even remember the actor's name. But
Dave Foley's love interest.
Yeah.
Was that Richie Sambora's wife? Caitlin somebody?
I don't know. Generic woman actor.
Carrying on with this intro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
NewsRadio.
So they fill the entire ship with poison and kill all the Romulans, which is great because then they've taken the ship back. But then they realize we don't know how to fly this thing, and oh shit, there's more Romulans coming right for us. Oh shit, there's Starfleet coming up behind us, and we're caught in the middle, and we're gonna have to fight our way out of this. And they can't, and they almost cause a warp breach, but then they turn the ship's multi-vector attack mode on by mistake.
Multi-ball mode.
And because it's autonomous, they're just like, oh, we don't have to do anything. Kill the Romulans. So it does, and they're saved. And except the crew of the ship, the entire crew's dead. But yeah, the doctors, they win. They pass the test. There you have it.
And there will actually be effects from this episode, which is surprising.
Oh yeah. The doc he beams back to Voyager, and he's like, hey, I had a little adventure. But yeah, everyone back home says hi, and see you later.
What was Paris and Kim up to this whole time?
Oh yeah, and then in the B plot, Paris, seeing as the Doctor is now effectively dead for all they know, they're like, well, we better get a new Doctor. So Paris convinces Harry that he should help him build a new holographic Doctor, but they fail miserably. and it just stands there and recites
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy at them.
In like the 3 hours that they had, they created this thing. Like they're never going to work on it again.
Well, I mean, Tom really did just jump straight to, well, he's dead.
Well,
Like, he really jumped the gun.
I feel like Tom is really used to being disappointed in his life.
Yeah, but realistically, that was a terrible plan. And,
Oh, yeah.
send Da Vinci. Don't send your only doctor.
That's what I was thinking.
Should have sent a poet.
Yeah, well, again, it's just the rule of we've got to send a main character
of course.
kind of thing.
But last time Da Vinci went somewhere, they could barely get him to fucking come back. I wouldn't send him. He's a loose goddamn cannon.
Sandrine. Where's Sandrine at?
Yeah, there you go.
Where's Vic Fontaine?
That's what we really
Deep
Yeah.
Space Nine.
We got some Deep Space Nine mentions, some menchies in this episode.
Oh, yeah, they do the old Dominion drop.
No, plus we know they ultimately did not use Julian for the Mark II.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Yeah, he was
Instead,
too
they
much
went
of a
with-
wild card, that Julian.
Instead, they picked some complete weirdo. I want to meet the Doctor he was actually based off of, because if he's that unhinged, oof.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at it the way you looked at when EMH Picardo was first activated, and he was very by the book. He was very like not personable at all. And this guy is also brand fucking new and has no experiences.
No, that part would make sense. It's the fact that he seems to be neurotic. Why would you make your Doctor neurotic?
Well, he's in a catastrophic situation. The first we meet him, like things are going horribly awry.
Well, plus it was like this was his like testing ground, right? They probably dialed it back after this. Or they just retired him altogether.
Yeah, like the first thing he does is try to shut himself down because that's the protocol. Because it's like, I can't do emergency situations. Fucking power down.
Man, how jealous was the EMH to find out that Mark II didn't need to ask to be able to turn himself off?
Probably pretty jealous.
I'm going to say not very, because he could do it now too.
Well, yeah, but it's obviously something that Starfleet must have realized that, oh shit, having this thing not be able to be turned off on its own kind of sucks.
Well, except that it doesn't, because if you've got Andy Dick as your EMH and he's a little pussy and runs away, it reminds me of, there's a character in Final Fantasy IV where if his hit points get low, he has a move called Hide, which is where he just runs off screen, so you can't heal him and he can't attack, and it's fucking annoying as
hilarious.
hell.
Is that the Bard?
Yes. Yep, Edward.
Amazing.
Poor bastard. But anyway,
shit.
the point is, I don't think it's necessarily a good thing to let your, doctor have the option to, run away when things get rough.
Being fair, it sounds like he can only do that if it's this specific, the ship has been taken over scenario.
We don't know. And again,
That's what he
Picardo
said,
can just
though.
do it when fucking ever. Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that was
okay.
the procedure.
Well, actually,
All right,
I
then I
should
missed
specify,
that.
the reason he did it was because that's procedure in this scenario.
But also because he's a wimp.
Well,
Yeah,
also
but-
because he is a doctor, not a
Commando.
Pick your favorite McCoyism. His program is specific to only doctoring. He doesn't know, this EMH, Picardo EMH, has expanded his programming because of the needs of the
Giggity.
situation.
I hate knowing that he added a dick.
The EMH?
Yeah.
I mean, what did you think he did?
I just kind of assumed it was a Sung situation where the egotistical maniac just built one in to begin with. I didn't need to know that
a penis?
he went I would like a penis so I can bone.
Well,
It's
I remember in real life, he was looking to have more human experiences. And
Yeah,
he
he was
boned
just-
his wife.
It was just easier for me to assume he already had one. It's somehow weirder knowing he had to attach it later. I don't know why. Maybe I'm weird. I probably am.
I'm just glad he's going to Bone Town.
Well, he definitely boned Freya, right?
Unclear. Unclear if he boned Freya. I think it's assumed he fucked Denara Pell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
So Starfleet can't move forward with this type of ship, right?
Why
this class.
not?
It's dumb, and also it has 3 warp cores.
Or at
Is
least
it 3?
2.
I think it's 2.
Yeah, because it looked like 2 of the sections had nacelles and 1 of them did not.
No. There's a little nacelle that pops out of the top of the saucer when it goes into multi-vector
I
attack
didn't see
mode.
that. That's terrible.
funny.
Yep, you can see, go back. There's a little nacella. It's like, it's you can actually even see when it's not in multi-vector attack mode. It's like, it's down, but not like covered. But yeah, it pops out, because when it first goes into multi-vector attack mode, it's at warp, and all 3 sections remain at warp.
How fast can you say it? Multi-vector attack mode.
So, at least 3 warp cores. Even if, like, the one in the saucer is just kind of small, like, that just seems like a drain on resources. It's something that was designed because it looked neat, not because it makes sense.
It would also be better to have the reverse situation where you have like ships that can fit together and form like a mega ship.
Oh, like when the Transformers will sometimes like become one big robot.
It's just it's a Power Ranger ship.
Yeah.
But who gets to form the head?
Like what happens? Yeah. So like seriously though, like imagine you've got a Prometheus class. It goes into multi-vector attack mode. Section 2 is destroyed, but sections 1 and 3 survive. Do you build just a new section 2? Do you have to scrap the whole thing and build a whole new one? Like,
I think you just build a new section 2.
It's just weird.
Yeah,
it's a weird idea.
Don't think it would be a drain on resources. I actually think it would be like you'd have like 1 or 2 of them going at any given time. And then if like you lose one, now you have backups.
Mm.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since this is such a new test bed.
I wonder if there's more use cases for it beyond multi-vector attack mode, like if it can be used, I don't know, if you need to do an evacuation of a planet, you can send it to all.
Or multiple planets, because now they can do multiple things.
Yeah. Like
now, does that mean you'd want 3 different commanders for each section?
Well, it looks like the sections function autonomously once it goes into multi-vector mode, so maybe you don't.
Except the other sections were still getting their commands from the bridge, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I wonder if there's just one main band center and then the other bits just kind of operate autonomously.
Yeah, I bet you can manually override them if you need to, too.
Yeah, this thing is definitely designed strict, like, this was probably cooked up in the same weird little lab that thought up the Defiant. And then they kept running with it, especially once the Dominion War broke out.
Yeah. What confused me was when we're being attacked by Romulans, as you do, and I know like earlier in the episode they say, oh yeah, the Prometheus's like array of weapons and like security measures include all these different kinds of shieldings. And yet after like 2 hits from Romulans, they're like, shields at 20%. I'm like, what happened to all these special shields?
Yeah, and their crazy armor and all this other stuff.
Well, okay. I want to state the obvious about this episode. This whole episode was just cooked up to have a kooky doctor adventure.
And it's a fun kooky doctor adventure.
It is a kooky doctor, but like, do not think too hard about this episode because nothing really makes a lot of sense. Just stuffing the Romulans into this plot doesn't make a lot of sense.
Would you prefer the Ferengi?
Yes.
Yeah, Ferengi would have made more sense, especially since they have a history of hijacking Starfleet ships.
The Packleads, then.
I do find it funny that both times they managed to get in touch with the Alpha Quadrant, the Romulans were involved.
Right.
Did you guys recognize Ricard, the Romulan commander?
I had meant to look him up, and I forgot, but I did it while Jake was introducing,
you son of a bitch.
And it blew my mind, but I haven't told Caitlin.
Ricard?
Caitlin hasn't been told yet.
Hold on, let me think.
He has a very angular face.
He has a very... Is he...
We've seen him twice before, if that helps.
Shut the fuck
Is he... Oh, sorry.
Not you. I'm trying to think. I bet I know who he is.
Is he one of the Vorta? The one that isn't, okay. It's the only angular-faced people I can think of right now.
I have a guess.
Do it. Guess it.
Is he
Darth Maul.
Is he Khan's little toady?
Yeah, Yakum.
There you go.
Who we also saw in
TNG.
Symbiosis.
Yeah. One of the, like, handful of genuinely decent first season TNGs.
He was really good in this, too. I really liked him in this. He goes, like, the Romulan kind of evil really well. His little first officer, who I don't know the name of, not good.
Yeah,
little stiff.
They definitely... He was a good casting. The other Romulans were just there to fill space, it seemed.
Yeah.
Well, they fill lots of space with all their shoulder pads.
So in 2 of his 3 appearances, he's stealing Starfleet ships to attack other Starfleet ships.
I love it. It's great. I enjoyed him.
Be that way.
Yeah.
See what they should have done? They should have had a scene where the doctors figured out how to lower the ship's shields.
I can't! Yeah, it was... Yeah, I was sitting there going like, he is so fucking familiar. But then I forgot to look him up. I liked when the doctor says to him, paranoia is just a way of life for you, isn't it? It's like, yeah, he's a Romulan. That's the thing, Jake, that's where you're wrong. They didn't kill them with the gas. They killed them when they turned off life support.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the gas was just an aesthetic.
But yeah, like, we don't need
the life
that.
Support, we don't need that. I was like, oh, boy, the Romulans do.
Well, at some point, they must have turned it back on again because people beam over.
Being fair, I guess, they didn't say they turned it off, just that they rerouted some power. And even if you turned it off, like, there's enough
there's oxygen
heat
in there,
and air
probably.
that'll last for a while, I'm sure. But it was still pretty funny. Like, I don't think the Romulans were their first concern.
No.
Or their last concern. I don't think they were their concern at all.
I like that when that one Romulan got his face blown off on the bridge, they didn't want to do makeup for his few seconds on the bridge. They made sure you never saw his face in that scene.
Oh, clever.
Yeah.
Like, it was really conspicuously like, just make sure we just want to do the makeup for the for the sickbay scene.
Yeah, so that's I wonder if it was even the same actor, if they just had somebody else.
Oh, that's a good point. Like, if they taped that after the fact and were like, fuck, we already sent Steve home.
Yeah, plus you don't want to do pre-face blown off makeup and post-face blown off makeup.
Yeah.
Truth, yeah.
Oh, that's what I was saying when the lights went out. Yeah, I quite enjoyed the doctor's line of, no, paranoia is just a way of life for you, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, he's a Romulan. That's, at the very least, if you're in the Romulan Navy or government, yeah, it is your job to be paranoid.
We got a really, really stupid pronunciation of Tal Shiar in this episode.
Oh, yeah, he, like, added an extra H somewhere.
Yeah, he was like, the Tal Shiar.
Oh,
and I was
weird.
like, Gesundheit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do appreciate, apparently Picardo is just constantly the thorn in all the writers' sides because he's always making like little like suggestions of quips that he should make. And I think he's probably the only character or the only actor on the show who can get away with this because none of the other ones seem to do it. Because I know like on the Delta Flyers, Robbie and Garrett basically say like, yeah, you'll leave them alone. But, and you also note you can't go off script at all. You can't ad-lib lines even if you're flailing. But Picardo just goes up and says, you know what, gentlemen? I believe that this line about breathing down the doctor's neck wouldn't make sense because we don't have breath. And they're like, okay, what would you say then? So the whole, like, could you not breathe down your neck exchange was all Picardo's idea. And it's a pretty good joke.
I liked that exchange.
I thought it was good too, yeah.
That thing too is like in reality, you know, knowing what we know about his off-screen life aside, like Andy Dick is awful, but he was a good choice for this character. I think him and Picardo worked well off each other.
Oh yeah, they worked really well off each other. I know like Andy Dick has said like he wasn't used to like a non-comedy show, and this was way more drama than he was used to, and also he had to act without his glasses, which apparently was hilarious on set. And he's basically said like, yeah, I had to think more like a drama show than a comedy show, but this one had like really, really solid comedy moments. Like I'd almost call this like a comedy episode.
It mostly is, yeah. Even when things are quote unquote serious, there's never really tonally a sense of threat, you know?
Yeah, you know, like it's a funny situation that two holograms have to figure out how to save the ship and save all these things. And they do it in a good way, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed his solution to the problem. You know, EMH1 couldn't get the locks undone, so he just tricked the computer into thinking there was a crisis.
Oh yeah, that was pretty smart.
So good on him.
And I liked how, you know, we learn partway through the episode that like Andy Dick's EMH tells really lengthy stories and does them really stupidly, but then at the end they tell their heroic tale together and are very like, I don't know, like connected.
Yeah,
and
it's a buddy comedy and everything works out.
Camaraderie and shit. I liked it. I thought they were great, yeah.
That whole sequence actually, from when they finally get the ship to do what they want it to, right through to them telling the story, the music even goes a little like almost comedy heroic, like it's a little over the top. Even, which was a nice touch. Kind of, yeah. Everything, though, about the B-plot with Harry and Tom was definitely like, this episode ran short.
Yeah.
Not, this was at all necessary.
Well, yeah, it just seemed like they needed something to put in the back on Voyager scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they had a couple B'Elanna and Seven bantering scenes. They had a couple other, like, little... This is what we're doing in the meantime. We meet the Hirogen, and they're going to be consequential for a couple episode arc.
Yeah.
So there is stuff still happening that's mostly like setting up for, some other episodes. But yeah, the Tom Harry bit, like I was
just
most confused. Like, it seems like Tom just decided this on his own and decided I'm one of the most important people on the ship because not only am I like the nurse, I'm the pilot. I'm a nurse, not a pilot, or the other way around. I'm going to borrow Harry, who's also got a very important job that he's usually doing, and make him dedicate a whole day of his life to trying to build a new AMH without permission from fucking anybody.
Well, and again, it's just like, you've been here like an hour? Calm down.
Yeah, and
like, I would get it if it had been a month of this shit, but...
I think if you were gonna have somebody help you make the new Doctor, I'd pick Tuvok. Because
I'd
we
pick
already
Torres.
See, I'd pick Tuvok because we already know that he's really good at creating realistic holodeck characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a strong attention to detail. I don't know. I think Tuvok would do a good job.
Yeah, like I could see Tom saying like it would be a good backup to have in case the Doctor is lost, because I don't want to do this. He seems very overwhelmed. It should not be his job.
Also, who the like, I get maybe Neelix doesn't know because he's not human and his entire gastrointestinal system is probably different. How did the two humans not understand they just had heartburn?
They probably don't have heartburn in the future.
That's what I said.
Like, god damn.
Well, everything's replicated. You feel like no matter what it tastes like, they would have like formulated it to not give you stomach upset. I mean, there's
but
probably
also,
like no food
future.
poisoning in the future,
I mean,
you know?
Maybe they did know what was wrong with them, but because they were extras, they couldn't speak.
Here's the thing, though. The only problem with that theory is, like, yeah, maybe replicated food is designed to not fuck with you.
Oh, but he's not replicating food.
Yeah, they're eating Neelix's food most of the time. So,
Yeah,
well, maybe this was the first time that he gave them heartburn.
Because it was his rootin' tootin' chili or whatever.
Yum.
Yeah, because normally he's making some bland
rootin'
garbage.
tootin' shit shootin' chili.
Yeah, that was another thing I forgot. About goddamn time Chakotay tells B'Elanna to fucking chill on 7 and 9. Like, I get that, yeah, she's a bit curt and maybe needs to learn to socialize a little, but I've been moaning for a while now about the fact that, like, there's clearly a lot of her being, B'Elanna being mad at 7 for her past, which, again, she had no control over, so maybe deal with that like an adult?
B'Elanna's just mad she's not the new hot girl on the ship anymore.
See, I also saw, like...
She's sick of Harry not staring lustily at her.
I think it's also, like, a power thing. Like, B'Elanna is the chief engineer. And we've got 7 who just wanders in, doesn't, again, like Tom and creating this new holodeck thing. Yeah. Doesn't ask permission to do stuff, doesn't seem to see Torres as her superior, just does things. I can see Torres getting pissed off about that.
Yeah, and if that's how it had been framed the whole time, that would be one thing, but it's like, again, so much of it just seems to really just be her being... Or the initial jumping off point was her being mad about her having been a Borg and not feeling bad about it.
I didn't see any of that this episode.
Yeah, but it's because it just feels like that's what sort of started it. And
right,
the
that was the through line in the beginning, for sure.
Yeah, so like... You
can hate someone for many reasons.
No, I know, but...
Yeah.
B'Elanna, it just felt like she was being petty, especially because 7 of 9... is learning to be human and doesn't really know any better. Like, you kind of have to cut her some slack. I feel.
Yeah, you got to understand that she's learning to socialize for the first time in her life, pretty much.
And that's why I thought her method in this episode to be like, hey, listen, like, maybe you don't understand that, like, you talk to people like they're dickheads. Maybe if you worked on that, people would like you more.
Yeah, like, address it like an adult. Don't just fume constantly.
Plus, like, 7 of 9, I would think, has got to be the easiest person to approach about, like, hey, you're really shitty at these niceties, because she probably doesn't really give a fuck.
Oh, yeah, she can't get
so
offended.
She's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you feel like it would be, like, the safest person to be like, hey, these things you're doing are not great.
Yeah.
She's not going to go postal because you don't like her bedside manner.
I do like that they bond over hurting somebody.
That was good. I like that.
Yeah, that was... After Janeway leaves, I wanted to be like, I was lying. He is so dead.
No.
Yeah, the Hirogen, I forgot they were the ones behind this little array until one of them popped up.
But, yeah. Well, we don't know if they're the ones behind it, at least not yet. We just know that...
Well, didn't they say it was that? Well, I guess maybe they could have...
They claim that it's theirs.
Oh, but they could have taken
doesn't
it
mean
by
they
force.
made
But
it.
I think we'll find out soon that probably predates them by a good deal. And they just found it.
Claim ownership, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, did you also recognize our Hirogen Alpha? The internet says his name is Idrin or Idrin, but I don't think it's said in the show. But we have seen him before as well.
His face was so covered, I did not.
Oh, you don't need to look at the face.
Oh?
How tall is this man?
White.
8 feet freaking... I actually don't know, but he's incredibly tall. Because he's the guy who plays Mayhardu.
Oh, no shit!
Oh,
Tiny
Mayhardu.
Ron.
I was gonna say maybe it was,
That's, what's his... Oh, Lurch?
Yeah.
That's, what's it, the Negus's dude?
Yeah, Mayhardu, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Cool.
He actually got a line. Finally.
Didn't he have, one line in an episode as the Mayhardu as well?
But, I think he had a line in an episode, but it was like a dream sequence or...
Something.
Or he was being like, it was one of the, prophet visions or something.
Either way, that is fun.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always good to see him.
I will say, though, I kind of forgot about their little face masks, and boy, do they look like refugees from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah, there's a real Scorpion vibe. I kind of latched on to Mad Max, but I like yours better. Get over here. Don't use our relay.
It was kind of funny, though, Chakotay, wow, they've harnessed singularities. It's like, yeah, the Romulans do that, too. Why is this surprising?
That's the next episode.
Oh, does he bring that up? God damn it. They're blurring together a little.
Yeah.
We just watched them.
I know, but, you know.
I'm just kidding.
And
I
it's
have
not the
same
Hirogen
problem.
tech.
Literally every time.
It's not the Hirogen tech that uses a singularity. It's that station.
Right. Well, that's what I mean, though, but just being surprised that someone had harnessed a singularity at all.
Cut
yes,
this conversation and move it later.
We'll see. Yeah.
I read that at the time there was a lot of debate over how many other Defiant class ships there were, because this is before Valiant has aired on Deep Space Nine. Because most fans were adamant that the Defiant is the only one. It's the only one of its kind because it's Cisco's ship, so it's special. Wah!
You're saying the fans were feeling a bit Defiant then?
Yeah. Well, the Defiant was presented initially as a prototype.
But then they made more when they realized it was good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was it. Like,
performed well.
Yeah, there was only one. Then they finally figured out how to deal with the issues the original had. So yeah, of course, especially in the middle of a war, they're going to churn those fuckers out as fast as they can.
Yeah, and they're small, and they probably are pretty quick to build, at least compared to
They did it
to
in the Mirror universe in like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine the Defiant is the only one with a cloaking device.
Yes.
And the only one with Worf's bedroom, obviously.
He's got one of those race car beds.
So that's an interesting...
Oh, he does.
That's an interesting thing,
That's
right?
why he and Jadzia didn't get married for a long time. She was like, I'm not sleeping in the race car. I'm sorry,
she'd totally
Jake.
be into that. Yeah, go on, Jake.
I'm so sorry.
So the Romulans and the Federation are, not obviously allies probably yet at this point, but they're certainly not on the worst of terms, at least not on stealing each other's starship terms. So it does surprise me. And again, I chalk this up to the episode.
Jake. Come on.
I chalk this up to the episode, again, being, we need a villain. Romulans.
Well, there's three ways you could look at it. One, your way, which frankly makes a lot of sense. Two, yeah, they're not technically on bad terms, but hey, the Federation's maybe a little wobbly right now because of this whole war thing. Let's take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's an opportunistic thing.
Three, you kind of get, there's not much said, but you could totally imagine maybe this guy's just kind of doing it on his own. Like, they don't really say. We don't know where his original ship is. We don't know exactly how he took the Prometheus.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But, like, he's taking it to Romulan space at first, and he's like, actually, I'm giving it to the Tal Shiar. And even the rest of his crew are like, wait, what? So, like, this guy may have just gone rogue at some point.
So, timeline-wise, I wonder if this is before the Tal Shiar basically get wiped out, more or less.
Oh, that is a good question.
Attacking the Founders' homeworld.
Huh, I didn't think of that.
Because they do make a comeback, because I think we see them, kind of again later, but...
yeah, I feel like they'll never entirely go away, so even if there was just a fragment of it left, he could,
Seela's got it covered.
Yeah. Can't wait to see her in Picard Season 3.
I'm really hoping that's what Picard Season 3 is. It's just Seela's revenge, and she kills the whole crew. Keeps Data... relaunches the Data program to keep it for herself.
She's just got a harem of him.
Ooh, ditto. Oh, you guys will love this note. The comic book Resources calls the Prometheus the third most powerful craft in Star Trek. The top two being the Vengeance from Into Darkness?
Yeah, that stupid RoboCop ship.
And the Swarm ships from Beyond. So really, it's that the Kelvin movies really needed to make the most powerful fucking ships in the whole of space.
But also, I object. Voyager?
Fair. Whale probe.
Whale probe. Voyager.
Voyager's more of an entity. It's more of a creature.
Yeah, I guess so. You could maybe make the same argument for the whale probe. Okay, but the Doomsday machine.
Yeah, but I feel like those are probably also... I'll share this list on the Facebook. Reminder to Ames, share this list on the Facebook.
So don't cut this.
Yeah, don't cut this, because I've got the list, and I think those are on there. I think they're just lesser. They're just not in the top 3.
The Doomsday Machine can eat a planet. The Vengeance has a lot of phasers.
But it's big!
Jesus Christmas. Okay. Okay. No,
yeah,
we'll have to see the list.
Check out the list when it's posted. We'll see where we land on this. Maybe we'll make our own list.
I was about to say, I will write a rebuttal if they legitimately have the fucking Doomsday Machine ranked lower than a starship.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely should do that.
What about the
Krenim ship?
Yeah, Red Foreman's ship.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
The first Federation bubble ship thing could probably fuck you up. Ugh. Okay, anyway,
there's a lot of powerful ships.
So many.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Dino ship is probably also more powerful.
Oh, the Voss. Yeah.
That thing was enormous. That's definitely a ship. So then again, apparently the fucking TOS Enterprise could carry out General Order 24. So
yeah,
I could be.
You can
maybe they are more powerful than they let on, since the Federation does not frequently actually exert their full strength.
I mean, General Order 24 just sounds like a matter of bombardment of a planet. With
you vaporize the surface
and phasers and things. So I'm sure.
Yeah, the planet itself would still be there. You've just ruined the ecosystem forever.
What about? If they're including Kelvin ships, then fucking asshole that blew up
Nero.
Yeah, Nero. His ship has a fucking gun on it that can actually collapse a planet.
Well, no, the red matter did the collapsing. He was just using the drill to make a hole to drop it in.
Well, there you go. So, Spock's little ship then. That's got the red matter weapon that can destroy a star.
Well, then again, that's the red matter weapon itself, not the vehicle.
But okay, if you take the weapons off, then none of these ships are powerful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is a ship without its weapons, though? Like, that seems weird.
I guess you have to figure out where you draw the line between a built-in weapon versus something anything could convey, you know? Anyway, that's not what this is about.
One thing the Prometheus had that I realized I forgot to include back when we talked about bridge chairs on Starfleet vessels.
Yeah, I noticed the chair.
And I kind of liked it. It looked like a toasted marshmallow.
Oh, a little bit.
I think it looked like someone did a really bad hack job on an office chair, and it looked wicked uncomfortable.
I thought it looked kind of soft. Although it didn't have any useful arm panel buttons, it looked like.
That's true. I do always miss the buttons, because you want it to be practical, because you are the captain.
Yeah. Oh, did it happen to say where this bridge set was from? Because I was kind of wondering if it was a repurposed Enterprise
I believe
E-bridge.
that's right. I think that's... Okay. If that's not canon, it's what people on the internet have speculated.
Because it kind of looks like it. Like, I kind of wonder if they swapped a few panels around and painted her white.
Yeah, I bet that's what they did.
It was fairly Spartan, too, I thought. Like, they took...
Which Good.
Yeah, I don't know. It had a very modernist sort of approach to it.
I don't know if it was on purpose, but I definitely thought that as well. I was like, it's kind of like the original bridge of the Excelsior when it was still in its experimental phase. I like the idea that, like, when a ship is still kind of new, they're like, most basic bridge possible. We'll worry about making it comfortable, like, when we actually start making these.
When it inevitably blows up, we don't want to have to replace all the chairs.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that as maybe that's just part of their design ethos. Very minimal bridge until it goes into production.
Mm-hmm. The last thing in my notes is, so that we get the very end scene, and it's actually really good that we're actually like doing an episode that is very Voyager because it's all about how to get home, which I think is one of Voyager's strengths. And at the end, we've made contact with the Alpha Quadrant. They know we're alive, and the Doctor tells everybody this news, and they just stand there, and I'm like, fucking whoop, arms up, do a shout, come on, people.
Yeah,
no fucking response from any of them.
Starfleet officers, they have to be composed. The real bummer, of course, is like, good news, we're in touch with the Alpha Quadrant. Bad news, they're apparently in the middle of a war. There may not be a Federation when we get home. It's not going well.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Whoopsie.
Like, this would be a point where things are going very badly for them.
Also,
they're
wearing new uniforms, and we have to now change our uniforms.
Yes, that's what's going to be in the encoded messages in the next episode. What uniforms they have to replicate. Tell us about it, Jake.
Yeah, so, all right, so in the following episode in Hunters, so, we're still hanging around with this communications array and start picking up a message like, somebody's calling us through the array. It's like, okay, let's check it out. So it turns out that it's just like really garbly message and they're playing around with it. It turns out that this ancient communications network isn't all that great, as we found out. Can transfer a hologram perfectly twice, but can't get a simple text message through. Thank you, T-Mobile. So they're like, oh, okay, it sounds like Starfleet is sending us something. So let's see. And they start getting little bits and pieces, and they realize, oh, shit, these are like letters from home. People are writing us letters. So, most of the episode is just, mail call. Neelix basically gets to be the postman.
That was cute.
And he gets to bring everybody their letters from home. And, so we're dealing a lot with what people get in the message. So Chakotay and B'Elanna, they find out that, the Maquis just got fucking wiped the fuck out by the Dominion. So all our friends are dead. So they're having to deal with that. Tuvok finds out he's a grandpa. Janeway gets dumped.
Whoa. How's the dog? Is the dog okay?
The dog is okay. The dog had a litter of kittens.
The important thing, the dog.
And then, we have a couple characters that are a little more nervous about what they're going to find out. Well, let's see. Well, Harry just wants to hear anything because he's convinced that nobody loves him, and he's probably right. But his girlfriend's certainly not going to write to him, but he wants his parents to at least.
Yeah, fuck with me.
And Tom is just like, I don't want to get a letter because everybody hates me. My dad hates me. My mom hates me. Even my goddamn cat hates me. So really, I'm just happy not to talk to people from the Alpha Quadrant. So everyone's kind of dealing with their messages in their own way, which is nice. But in the meantime, we're also studying this network, and it turns out that it's at least 100,000 years old.
Or the station thing at the center of it.
Well, the thing is, they were only talking to one of the nodes. Like it seemed like it was a network of nodes, and they were only talking to one of them.
Okay.
The nodes.
So there's nodes that lead all the way from here to the Alpha Quadrant. So they're just looking at one of the nodes in particular, and they're discovering that it's very old and that it's powered by an artificial quantum singularity.
Always a good idea.
Mini black hole. I guess that's the only way you're going to be able to get power that lasts for as long as they need it.
That's true.
Maybe. Yeah. And it turns out that the Hirogen who we met last week and shocked one of them, they're still around, and they're still a little pissed that Voyager's using their phone line. They're trying to get online, download some porn, but Voyager won't hang up.
So it's a landline, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Get off the phone! I want to play Call of Duty. So the Hirogen are they're hanging out, and they're like, you know what? Fuck it. So we learn a little bit more about them. They're not just assholes that want to monopolize the phone line. They're also some kind of weird hunter species, and they have like bones and things like that decorating their ship, and they're like, let's do a hunt. So eventually the as they're downloading messages off the thing, it starts breaking down, and Seven's like, I could probably fix this, but I got to get closer to it, but it's giving off these waves of nerd energy that just will fuck with our ship if we get too close. So let's take a little ship in. So she goes in with Tuvok. They have a little heart-to-heart. Tuvok says that Vulcans can lie, but they don't.
I was so fucking happy.
Yay!
We can totally lie, but I won't. Ever.
Good for Tuvok.
So we find out
That's a lie, isn't it?
They manage to fix up the station, but before they can return to Voyager, they get abducted by the Herodians. And they're going to really fuck them up. They're like, let's disembowel these people. Ooh, 7 of 9's got some really nice intestines that we can hang on our wall. Tuvok, we'll probably do something with his ears. Those are cool.
Several eyelids. Keep them all.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to they get like these really gnarly looking fish gutting knives and stuff. And it looks like it's going to get pretty dark. But then the Voyager's like, oh shit, our friends got captured. They're not giving them back, so we need to do something. And they're like, we demand you release our people, and then we'll stop using your phone line. And they're like, no, you just get the fuck out of here. We're keeping our trophies. And Voyager's like, not acceptable. Meanwhile, more Herodians start showing up. So Voyager's like, you know what? There's a black hole in that thing. Let's turn off the shields so that and let the black hole loose. Which they do. And then it pulls in all of the Herodian ships. They manage to beam off Seven and Tuvok and not get sucked in themselves. But having destroyed one of the stations with its own black hole has totally destabilized the entire network of, this ancient network. So they've destroyed that.
Whoops.
Good job, Janeway.
And so further communication with Earth is no longer possible.
Did we get all the letters?
We got most of the letters. We got Harry's letter, so he got to hear from his folks. They told him how disappointed he was and that his brother's a doctor. and Tom, fortunately for him, he found out that he had a message from his dad, but it didn't make it in the download. Or B'Elanna read it, saw how fucking shitty Tom's dad is, and just deleted it.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, that's going to be
the whole message, Tom. Don't worry.
Yeah, that was going to be my first question. Is what do you think was actually in Owen Paris's letter to Tom?
You're a huge disappointment.
Dear Tom, happy to hear that Voyager survived. Sad to hear you did too.
Dear
XOXO, Dad.
Dear Tom, do you remember the password for the Wi-Fi? Signed, Dad.
Dear Tom, I'm breaking up with you. The dog's fine.
That's a mean thing to call his mother.
Wow.
So I would have been a good episode, don't get me wrong, but I honestly would have been perfectly happy if it was 100% the crew reacting to letters.
Yeah, it almost felt like oh no, we've been kidnapped by hunters who want our various organs. It felt tacked on at the end, and like there wasn't a ton of stake.
Well, I think it was also just so they could knock out the array, because that would have been like, then you'd have to kind of keep it. Well, I mean, not that they would necessarily, but you know what I mean, though. Like, that dilutes, I guess, some of the tension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't appreciate a thing until it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sort of compounds the heartbreak.
Yeah. So what do you think, Jake? Is this some sort of pre-Gateway Iconian array?
I'm really interested in who built these things. It seems it could be, right? We know that they were a massive empire and they had... But the thing is, we know that the Iconians had presence in the Alpha and Gamma quadrants, at least. We don't know if they necessarily had stuff in the Delta quadrant.
True. Maybe it was... oh gosh, the same race that made that crazy gun the cat monsters wanted in TAS.
The Slaver Empire.
Yeah, maybe it was theirs.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I got nothing else. Yeah, no. You're right, though, the Herodian probably didn't actually build it. They probably just found it and somehow seized it.
Yeah, that's my guess as well. I mean, they don't, they see, we've only met a couple of them, but so far they seem kind of like a monoculture of hunters, I guess.
Yeah, there also seems to be like a kind of interesting dynamic, and I know we're going to see a little bit more of the Herodian as we're going through this space. in that they seem kind of Kazon-y in that they don't seem to get along with each other very much. Like, Tiny Ron basically says, I want to destroy the Voyager and collect these things and get the prizes for myself, even though, like, the backups are on their way, but I don't want to share.
I guess I read that less as sort of the sectarian aspect of the Kazon and more just arrogance of that particular guy. Like, I'm not saying they don't all have that, but I think to shove, they will work together much more quickly than Kazon would.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this was just, this guy is like, I want the credit, I want the glory.
Yeah, I think I agree. It seemed to me like it's a personal glory sort of thing.
Yeah, like...
He really loves intestines.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to be the one to get these unique creatures that we haven't seen before. So the Hirogen actors were just actually hugely tall then.
Yeah.
Okay, I had thought maybe it was camera tricks. So...
Well, they specifically went and got Tiny Ron because they knew they wanted, like, the interesting thing about this race. Because, like you said, with their masks and their makeup and their costuming, you can't see a lot of their body or their face, but you can tell that they're fucking huge.
I like... Yeah. Shit, was it... Yeah, no, it was Seven. She's always available with a good burn. Like, pfft, all that makes you formidable is that you're super tall. You suck otherwise.
Yeah.
It's like
wouldn't bother assimilating you.
Yeah.
She must have been so fucking uncomfortable in the bindings and shit. Because her costume is already skin tight and so rigid. All I could, that's what I said too. I was like, oh, a little BDSM time.
Yeah.
But it had to hurt for her to have her like arms back like that. The whole time I just felt bad for her.
Yeah, while she's already in the corset and all the otherwise uncomfortable
Yeah, the fucking gear. Boning.
Yeah, like that's already probably not great. And then to put it on top of her already ridiculous outfit.
The Hirogen also did an interesting thing that they didn't really, like, you could see, but they didn't bother explaining. They just did a visual of, oh, we're going to meet new people. Let's put on our makeup. And Adrian puts on this, like, little white stripe on his forehead thing.
Yeah.
It's like, wonder what that symbolizes for them.
Yeah, because he's got a couple different pots. And we know that later he puts the, like, black or possibly navy blue one, whatever it was, marks on. So, like, that's for someone you're about to gut.
Yeah. Right. I'm a hunter, you're a prey.
Yeah.
I liked it because I was like, as he's painting, I'm like, oh, what do you think about going with a stronger brow? Oh, now your sides match. Because he gave her like a big blue mark over her like non-Borg eye. I was like, oh, that looks good. This really brings out your eyes.
Yeah, I imagine, well, I'd like to think somewhere, even if we never see it or have it explicitly explained, someone wrote down what the various pots meant and what the colors were for. And
green is go.
Because there were at least, I think, 5, maybe. There was, like, yellow and red and white and black and something else.
Yeah, and I like those kind of details that they just kind of let stand on their own without having to explain in copious detail what it means.
Yeah, like, I
mean, you understand that putting on, like, the war paint, though. Like, that's pretty... Yeah. That's a well-understood trope.
It's nice that they didn't, like, belabor it, is what I think... You know.
Do they have paint that they put on like before like phone calls with like their insurance company or like when they need to talk to customer service about their phone? Like, are there different, like, we're not quite hunter and prey, but I want you to know I mean business. If you're trying to start with good cop and you switch to bad cop, do you like this is my light pink, it means that I am just, and then you just like smear red on top of it when you mean business. I'm just really curious, like, how much are we expressing through these paints?
Good question.
Jake, I don't think you really think that's a good question.
Wow. Blunt.
Well, that's okay, because it wasn't a real question, Jake, okay?
Damn it!
Okay, is it a better question of how did he survive getting his throat slashed by Tuvok?
I mean, maybe they don't have their arteries in the same.
Yeah, not all species keep their genitals in the same.
Yeah, should have gone for the knees.
They have backup arteries like Klingons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, humans are pretty fucking vulnerable.
Yeah, we leave so many important veins right near the surface.
Well, not even that. We're all squishy. We don't have any like external anything. And apparently you can just suck our skeletons out like it's nothing. So that's all we really got. You take that away, we're really fucked. Boned, you might say, or deboned.
We found that other alien that got got all of his bones.
Yeah, like a deflated balloon.
And something bad happened. Wait, no.
It did.
Something bad definitely happened to that guy.
Yeah.
It looked awful. I was like, what did they just like slap some paper mache over some plastic shopping bags? What the fuck happened here?
From the very brief look you got at its head, it almost looked like the scene in Beetlejuice when Alec Baldwin stretches out his face. It looks like he took the skeleton out of that.
For Halloween, can we like 10 forward Beetlejuice?
That's one of my favorite movies.
It's a good movie.
It's a
I don't
fucking
know what Star Trek connection it has.
I don't think it has any connection.
It's fantasy and science fiction are weird cousins.
Winona Ryder is in the 2009 Star Trek.
There we go.
No, that's right. She was Amanda.
Okay, the fact that actors are shared among things is not a good reason.
Okay, but what about the fact that it also features the guy who is the
You're doing it again. You're doing it again.
I just wanted to
Okay, but what about the fact that Michael Keaton is in it and he plays Batman? And we know how much this podcast loves Batman.
Son of a bitch.
It always comes back to this.
So, letters. The real heart of the episode.
Yeah, it struck me a little like the episode Family in TNG, where it's just kind of let's watch how people deal with, like, trauma and news and kind of just rebounding from, like, difficult situations with an episode that doesn't have, like, all the letter information that we get. Like, it isn't stuff that's going to, like, propel the plot forward, but it's stuff that's going to affect the characters.
Yeah, and that's, like, I appreciate that. Yeah, there was actually a fair bit of, like, bad news for people. Hi, Chakotay. All your friends? Dead. Hey, Janeway, your apparently fiancé? That had never come up before, right? That they were engaged?
I thought he was engaged. I thought she was engaged to the dog.
But, your fiancé assumed you were dead, married someone else.
But I waited longer than almost anybody else. But he held out for as long as he fucking could. He's not a bad man.
No, I'm not saying he was. I mean, he waited.
It just sucks for Jane.
Yeah.
Well, but I was annoyed at her, though, because she's like, and I got a Dear John letter. It's like, no.
That's not
He didn't tell you I'm fucking leaving you for the au pair. He fucking said, hey.
Thought you were dead.
I thought you were dead, so, like, I had to move on. It wasn't like, I am no longer interested in your company, and so I'm going elsewhere. It's like your company was no longer available, so I had to make do. Like, I mean, not make do. That's probably not fair to his wife. I'm sure she's lovely, but she likes cats, not dogs. But, I don't know. I just thought she was being... And I don't blame her for being upset and self-serving, but it's like...
The only part of the scene that didn't work was calling it a Dear John letter, just because that's not what a Dear John letter is.
It annoyed me, that's all.
Everything else about it was fine.
Yeah. Like, I can imagine holding out that hope, like,
yeah.
If I get home, I'll see Mark again. Like, it's a driving force for a character. Like, if I get home, Mark and I will have more puppies.
Yeah.
So many puppies. And now, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now, I mean, she's got permission to fuck Chakotay, which was the implication.
Oh, he was so excited about that, too.
Chris turned to me.
He's already working on a new tub.
That's what Chris said! Yep. Chris turned to me and said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but would you like me to? And then we both said, build you a tub.
Here's the thing. Yeah. I like Chakotay. He's great. I don't like the idea of them fucking. I don't know why. No, I've never gotten a they should fuck vibe. I think they're good buddies. I think they get on. I do not think they should fuck.
Yeah, there's tons of people who shipped them hard too. And
I don't get why.
I don't give a shit.
I don't get that from any of their interactions.
I also think it cheapens both characters.
Yeah.
If they do, I have no problem with Janeway having a romantic.
Oh yeah, not at all.
Partner at some point, but I don't necessarily think it should be a member of her crew. I think that's
there's only so many. There's only so many options right now.
Yeah, but I do, because she's had a few flings with like that fucking weird dude with the fancy.
Yeah, but then you move on. How is she going to have like a longer lasting relationship with anybody if they're always on the move?
Neelix.
Exactly. Done. You figured it out. Speaking of Neelix, I did kind of like that, Neelix got to be the mailman because, he's not going to get a letter himself. So it's a way to get him involved and keep up the morale. I thought that was a good task for him to do.
Yep.
I thought his scene with Tuvok was very sweet.
Oh, that was great. Yeah. Yep.
Like, Tuvok, read the letter. There's something important in it.
Yeah.
How do you know?
And then Tuvok lets him read it. a lot of it out loud to him. And then Tuvok is like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to read the damn letter. Thought that was nice. Also, it's one of the few times you can kind of justify, like, giving everyone little pads instead of just saying we sent it to your computer in your quarters or something, because it gives it that extra personal touch, you know? Like, it's... We're doing this for a reason that makes sense, not just we act like pads have 2 kilobytes of memory.
So so everything that Starfleet knows about Voyager, they had to have found out from the Doctor. Right?
Yep.
He's the only person that's talked to them. So did he must have given them
The crew manifest?
The crew manifest, because otherwise there would have been a lot of letters to dead people.
Oh, all these letters to Suitor from me.
Right? Because like a huge number of the crew died immediately when the caretaker brought them over. So, man, imagine being those people. It's like, oh, front page news, the Voyager's been found and they're fine and they're on their way home, except for, these 40 or 50 people.
Do they bother telling the Cardassians about Seska?
Yeah, fuck them.
Well, no, definitely not, because they're at war with the Cardassians.
Yeah. That must have been awkward. Hey, yeah, so, the crew, the Maquis and the Starfleet people integrated. Turns out the Maquis had a long cover Cardassian spy, so maybe look for those?
We know Cardassians love their plastic surgery.
And long-term plans.
That usually bear fruit, unlike a Romulan plan.
Yeah.
They can pass for Bajorans, since they are biologically the same species, tinfoil hat.
Yeah. I've heard that from other places, so it's not as foily as you would think.
I mean, wait a minute. How many people subscribe to QAnon? It's still tinfoil hatty. Just saying, the number of people who believe it doesn't make it not tinfoil hatty.
I would say that it is less crazy to have fan theories about Star Trek than to believe anything from QAnon.
Oh, no, I agree. I'm just saying that...
posting about Cardassians and Bajorans being the same species on 4chan, if I could get that added to, like, the canon of QAnon beliefs.
Woof.
Probably.
Oh, we also get a little bit of scene stuff from the EMH, because he's already, like, as he goes back, he says, oh yeah, when I get back, I'm going to be like a hero when they're going to study me and this and this. And who's he talking to? Is it Seven?
Seven.
Yeah.
Seven's like, yeah, how do you know they're not just going to deactivate you because now they have better EMHs? He's like, no, impossible.
They are immediately mailing his program to Measure of a Man guy.
Oh, that guy.
Maddox, oh God.
To Maddox, so he can study, like, how he became...
More human?
Yeah, like, he went from a basic AI to a crazy advanced AI.
He belongs in a museum.
Yeah, I don't know. My feeling, and I may have said this before, this theory, that I think the Doctor is based on Moriarty. Like, the technology that spawned Moriarty, I feel like Zimmerman reverse engineered that to build the Doctor program.
Yeah.
They're too similar.
Yeah.
Same with Vic.
Oh, another thing I noticed in this episode is that it is actually Starfleet protocol to not send out away teams of one.
Which makes sense.
Well, it's not really a team, is it, then?
Right, to which I wrote in my notes, someone tell Melora, because she was being all bitchy about how they wouldn't trust her with a shuttlecraft.
I'm pretty sure we said that at the time, too. It's like, lady, don't take it personal. I just wouldn't...
It's not a good idea.
Yeah, just always send a couple people.
Big, huge chip on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Also, there have been a number of other times when we've seen single person away missions.
But it's usually, it's like Spock agreeing to go alone in a shuttle to do something stupid because he's probably going to die.
Or that time O'Brien went deep cover to infiltrate the Orions or whatever.
Yeah, and that was Starfleet.
The Orions.
Whoever it
O'Brien
was.
went to the Orions.
I like that. But that's the thing. That was Starfleet intelligence. And if Star Trek has proven anything, they are the worst intelligence agency in space.
True.
They are fucking incompetent.
Hello, fellow aliens.
Yeah, really, seriously. They are so bad at what they do.
There was also the time that B'Elanna went to the Dreadnought on her own.
That's true, but I also think...
That was because she knew the ship really well.
She's the only one it would have accepted, I imagine.
I think it was something like that. I mean, there had been other cases in the past, but... In reality, yeah, they probably shouldn't do it ever, if it can be avoided.
Yeah, and plus it's a great excuse to get some more Seven Tuvok scenes, which are some of my favorite scenes. Because I think the two of them work really well together.
Yeah, they're fun together.
It's easier for her to relate to him, because she doesn't have to engage in niceties.
Yeah, he's not like you're rude. He's more like, I totally like your bedside manner.
Yeah, they're two beings who don't get offended by things. Because they'll just, look at it logically or Borgily.
Yeah.
I like that B'Elanna flat out called Harry Kim out for, trailing after her like a puppy this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that to end. I want that whole Harry looking at Seven with big heart eyes to fucking be done.
I feel like
same.
it already
I hate it.
basically had, though. I think they did a few episodes, and I feel like it's kind of the first time it's really come up in a bit.
Yeah, he hasn't really thought about her since he had that weird wet dream.
Oh, I forgot
that whole
about that.
episode.
Why did they wake
long
him?
Wet dream.
But yes, I know we mentioned it already, but I just gotta bring it up again. He fucking admitted it, the bastard. The fuckers can lie, and do. Ah, vindicated.
Yay.
Thank you, Tuvok.
This is why Tuvok is best Vulcan.
As he knew he could tell her, because she'll keep it to herself.
Yeah.
She won't ruin the mystique.
Yeah, I have to admit I am grudgingly coming to like Seven, and not just because she's a hottie.
Yeah, and Jerry Ryan's also excellent, so they give her some great stuff in future episodes as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at first I wasn't really sure that I thought she was excellent, but she's growing on me, so...
Yeah, it's supposed to be weird for you coming to her
Yeah, because I've already seen her as Picard, yeah.
where she's sort of...
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it was the other way around.
Well, because, yeah, really, I already know her as bisexual superhero 7 of 9.
Yeah. What else? I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think anything else.
It's a good episode, though.
Yeah, it was.
It's actually 2 good episodes, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was a good week. It was a good week.
Yeah, really good.
Oh.
I think the Hirogen, we're going to see more of them. So
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank God.
There's one in particular that I only specifically remember one other episode with them, and it is a weird trip from what I remember.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, yes.
It's a 2-parter, right?
There's a 2-parter. Spock would love it.
Oh, right.
Okay, no spoilers.
Yes.
Okay, so we got space Nazis coming?
Yeah, sort of.
I'm not going to spoil.
Anyway,
what we did see was a whole bunch of new ships.
True.
I know we talked about the Dreadnought before. Make sure you go and check it out on our Tumblr, or you go back a couple episodes and listen to what we said about it. But we're also looking at all these new alien ships, and they're very fun.
Ooh.
Aliens.
So last week we talked... I know we saw Romulans this week, but we talked Romulans last week because I timed this poorly. Dang it. And we
This week it's
Klingon
Andorians.
Ships. No, there's not.
Tellarites?
We talk for like a sentence.
I think we see one maybe in Enterprise.
So what we're going to do is we're going to move backwards in time now that we covered all the 2 main alien races who we see a lot of ships from.
Or are we going to swing shot around the sun to do it?
We're going to go back to TOS land, back in time to the 1960s when there really weren't that many alien ships.
Yeah, I feel like until they did the remasters and made some models, most of the ships were always just so far away, they were just a light on the screen that you didn't get a great look at.
Yeah, and even then, I feel like whenever we met other aliens, we didn't see their ships.
Yeah, no.
Almost ever, because...
Oh god, except the Spock's brain people who had a terrible 50s rocket ship.
I don't have that one. What I do have is a couple of TOS ships that we're going to look at. The first being the Fesarius, which I always enjoyed. It's a big disco ball, golf ball, golden, bedazzled ball, ball of stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. It's very pretty.
Yeah, I love it too. I love how shiny and huge and just, it's such an extra ship.
Yeah.
Fitting for Baylock.
Yep.
You like this one, Jake?
Yeah, it's cool.
Would you care for some Tranya?
Yeah.
Always. Want more Tranya. Yeah, but I feel like it's also very, it's the kind of thing that they could have easily built in the 60s because it's just a big ball.
Yeah. But it's good too. It makes them seem more alien than some of the other aliens because it's not like a ship. It's a big fuck-off sphere.
We would never conceive of building a ship like that.
Yeah, you wonder how the hell does this thing go and work?
Yeah.
You don't need to know because Baylock's on it.
Well, it's like the Planet Express ship. It actually moves the universe around it.
That would almost make the most sense, really.
Yeah, so that's the Viserys. And again, if you want to be following along with these images, they're all up on the Tumblr as well at sshbpodcast.com. Next, we're going to take a quick look at the Gorn ship. I forget if it's only really extra visible in the remaster and how much of this we actually did get to see in the original series, but we do definitely get to see the Gorn ship, and it's funky looking.
I like it.
I like it, but there's definitely like shades of the TOS Romulan Warbird here.
Yeah, it's got that same kind of wing look.
Yeah, and the like smooth gray. But it's good. It's also possibly quad nacelle.
Yeah, like there's definitely the two nacelles on top are warp nacelles because it says so on the label.
Yeah.
The bottom it says that there's definitely ram scoops, but again, it's funny looking because it's got like 4 nacelles, but they each comes off of the side.
And then there's like a big fifth thing, possibly just a thruster on the middle bottom.
Yeah.
Just a funky thing.
Yeah, that's the impulse engine, the kind of ass of it.
It's been a while since I looked at it, but I feel like it almost kind of looks like the hero ship from the Star Trek episode of Black Mirror.
Oh.
The Callisto?
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Could not remember what it was called.
I'd have to look at it. I don't remember it now.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I feel like it looks vaguely like that.
Yeah, I like that the ram scoops are kind of a nice fuchsia. It's very pretty. It's got some fuchsia on the side of it as well. Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
It looks very weaponized, too. Like, you can definitely tell, like, this is a thing that's made to fuck you up and not just to explore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gorns. All right. And that's all I really collected from TOS, because there really aren't that many ships that you see.
I like how the front... Oh, yeah, okay, I was going to say, I like how the front of this ship looks like Baleen.
Yeah, so now we're looking at the Ferengi class the Ferengi Decora class that we saw in TNG. We saw a bunch of these things, and honestly, I can't tell which side is the front and which side is the back.
The front is the front.
Damn it.
The Baleen?
Yeah, the Baleen.
Wait.
That's how it sucks up plankton, space plankton.
No, the other.
Yeah, the other way. Yeah,
oh, really?
I think the pointy bits are facing forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so the big...
I thought you meant the Baleen was the ribbing on the front there.
Yeah, I always thought, I always thought the big rounded section was the front because it looks like a horseshoe crab, and that's the front of the horseshoe crab.
Yeah.
No, I think.
Is it the other way?
Yeah. I think those are like the engines on the back.
Are a couple of those shots the one from Prodigy?
I don't know. I just found these on Astra Scientia.
That ship is also fucking huge.
Yeah, it is.
I realize it, but looking at the windows on it, it is fucking enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
But it also seems to be pretty much their only major class.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see a bunch of their shuttles, and I know Quark's ship is very small.
Yeah. But like every time we see a capital ship, it's one of these.
Yep. And I think it's good for the Ferengi because it's almost rounded like their ears.
Yeah.
It kind of looks, because I know like their emblem is kind of like just round, very roundy ear shape kind of things.
Yep.
So it makes sense.
And it's certainly unique.
Yeah, it is another head and neck design.
True.
Which we do see quite a bit of.
True. But as far as the horseshoe crab aspect.
It's also got that same coloring as like the Vulcan ships. Which
I like the coloring. The kind of orangey reddish.
Mm.
Yeah, I always liked it. I like that they're also very visually distinct from pretty much anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel kind of weird that they have such warm colors when they come from such a wet, gross planet.
It might just be the metal they have access to.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying. If they were like a murky, swampy green, I feel like I would feel better about that.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing with this ship is I think it really looks like it was designed, and it was, before it was established what the Ferengi really were.
True.
It's like this looks way more threatening. Like I would expect a Ferengi ship to be plated in gold and have like the Negus's head as a hood ornament, you know?
Yes, I want to see that ship.
But gold is so useless.
If we go with that fan theory you discussed way back then, that so much of what was understood about the Ferengi was false information purposely spread by the Negus, then they would make big hulking ships to match.
Yeah, maybe the ship is just mostly hollow and like there's only like a small area in it where they actually are, and the rest is just like
it is
cardboard.
It is mostly cargo bay for buying and selling shit, yeah.
Or stealing.
Yeah, have we
That
ever
too.
seen one of these things attack? Like, what do they do? Because I assume these are little guns on the end of their semicircular area.
I assume that a little flag that says bang pops out and they fly in the other direction as quickly as possible.
At the very least, Picard got into a fight with one back in his Stargazer days.
Yeah.
Did he lose?
He did.
That's
Well, it was a Pyrrhic victory.
pretty upsetting.
Because he did kill Daimon Bach's kid.
That's true. But he also lost his ship.
He did.
Cool. Well, that's really fun for the Ferengi. I love seeing their ships.
Yep.
We're also going to take a look, because I know Jake wanted to look at these kinds of ships specifically. The Packled's ship, the Mondor class. And it's just a big wedge of a thing, and it's very, like, just this easy model that they created, and they're going to reuse this model all over TNG.
I was about to say, I feel like we see this ship as many. Isn't this even Okona's ship, like maybe slightly modified?
Oh, I have a list here, because we see it as 8 different ships. There's a list on X Astra Scientia of where you see this goddamn thing. And it's
Damn.
8 different times you see this ship because it's the same. Because they had the model and it was innocuous enough that they could use it in the Vengeance Factor and the Wounded and the Host and just all over the place as different things.
That's funny, but it was not Okona's ship apparently. So
Nope.
interesting.
Yeah, but I do feel like it could make sense because you got to imagine that, sure, the major powers, the Klingons and the Federation and the Romulans, yeah, they're going to have their own giant shipyards and can, put out all kinds of ships. But you got to imagine that there's probably also just commercial entities that build ships and sell them.
Oh, that's
GM,
a good idea.
Chevrolet ships.
Well, and also, I mean, we know the Packlet's whole thing is bamboozling people into like thinking they're not as clever as they are and stealing stuff. They could have totally jacked off of somebody.
That's true.
Jacked off.
Yeah.
Ah.
Didn't think that through.
Jacked somebody off for this. But
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. I like the idea that, yeah, outside of the major powers that can afford to have their own shipyards, that maybe there are just, off the shelf ships you can buy.
Yeah.
Do you think there are Ferengis who own pre-owned Starship lots?
Oh, there definitely are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got like hundreds of these things on the lot.
To
That was a noise.
slap it. This thing's got millions of miles left on it. Fucking fender falls off.
This was owned by a Bajoran who only flew it to
The
DS9 on
Celestial
Sundays.
Yeah, to visit the prophets, right?
Yep.
That was a pretty good Quark impression.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's also a nice utilitarian little ship. Like, it's just a wedge. It's very easy.
It's good for keeping doors open.
Like, yeah, it's just meant to, like, go to a place and come back. Like, I can't even tell if it has weapons.
It reminds me, it's like the shape is like a destroyer, Star Destroyer or whatever, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, in that it is a triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, nothing else really. Just the shape. That's where I operate, though, is just on basic 2D shapes. 1D
And it's
shapes,
got the
2D shapes.
Dustbuster nose, kind of like the Defiant has.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yep,
nice.
yep.
It kind of gives it like a I want to pet it look.
Aww.
You want to give it a little scritch under the chin, like, oh, who's a good ship?
Yeah.
Who's a good little shippy ship?
All right, moving
And
on.
it's got a little... Oh, sorry.
I can go back.
Well, I was just going to say, on the right side there, I don't know what that actually is, but it looks like a little turn crank to, like, make it go.
Ah,
On the, no, the other one, to the
other
far
one.
right top picture. Not that, a little bit down. The one that looks like a can. The can thing.
Right
yeah,
there?
Yeah, point to it on the screen like she can see it.
I know she can't, but yeah, there.
Yeah, that. I feel like if you turn that, it'll fly.
oh, okay. It'll fly and it'll say, "My name's Woody. There's a snake in my boot."
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Or it could be a pull cord as well. You're right. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I like this kind of. It
I
looks
like to
almost,
acquire things.
It almost looks like there's a little satellite dish on it too.
It's the deflector array.
That's how they're getting
Yeah.
Skinamax.
It's very
Or that.
cute. It just
Scrambled
feels like
porn.
like some designer just had fun sticking stuff to this thing.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Now, the other ship that we see redressed over and over and over again is the Husnak ship.
The
So-
Uskow?
It's very flat. It looks very like a typical freighter.
Yeah.
In that it's just a kind of long rectangle ship. But again, with this one, we see it even more
Holy shit.
It starts off as the Husnak ship, and then we see it
Holy fuck.
over 20 more times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So your strategy of, maybe it's a ship that's just mass produced and sold doesn't really work for this one.
Unless some of them are in the Delta Quadrant. Maybe it's just a really successful business.
Well, I can't justify the Delta Quadrant ones. The reason they're so prevalent in the Alpha Quadrant is, Kevin wiped out the entire species. So there's just all these empty ships floating around that people commandeer.
There you go.
Well, here's the thing, though. This design had to have been around since at least Enterprise, right? Because we see
true.
Enterprise.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
But not in TOS.
Maybe the Husnak did extend all the way into the Delta. Maybe the Husnak were the ones that built those relay stations.
My God.
Oh my God.
Kevin wiped them out with a thought, the bastard.
And that's why no one was using the array.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting tinfoil hat, Jake.
I like it.
Yeah, the ship otherwise very standard looking.
Yeah, it feels like it could be slotted into a lot of other franchises.
Yeah, and I bet you, fans wouldn't notice that it was the same because it's not very visually interesting. So you can see it, between, a couple episodes later, you see it again as another thing. You're not really going to register because it's not very interesting.
Yeah.
Neat.
I do we get to see in Deep Space Nine a Miradorn Raider ship that the internet tells me Baran from Gambit used as his ship. And it's very neat looking. It's got all these angular bits. It looks kind of like a little alien or like a little space invader type of ship.
I think it looks like a little frog.
Wait, Baran, is that terrible Luck Machine episode?
No,
that's the one that he fake Dave Bowie sort of character.
Picard and Riker are looking for a Vulcan device.
Oh, yes, that episode.
And they install these things in their neck, but their leader, Actus Baran, has one in his neck too because he's a fool.
Yeah, that moron.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
And Robin Curtis was there.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was a Romulan this time, wasn't she?
Yeah, and she was much better as a Romulan than as a Vulcan. But the ship, I think, is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat. It's very different.
It's got kind of like a mandible thing. It's very beetle-y, I think.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Take a look at it on the internet. It's neat looking.
It looks like a ship that wants you to be afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you actually are is up to you, but it's certainly, it's a lot of it is about look at us, we're pointy and scary.
Yeah.
Meh.
I could get tangled in your hair because I'm a beetle.
Okay, now we're going to jump to some more familiar-looking ships. We're going to start with the Borg Cube, which, what can I say, is a big cube.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big cube, but I do appreciate all the texture stuff they put on it.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be, so many. They clearly just raided a, model shop, bought a bunch of kits, and slapped random shit onto a cube.
It's cool. It's a really cool texture.
But that means if you wanted to, make your own, you really can't fuck it up. All you gotta do is...
Well, you gotta imagine no two Borg cubes probably have the exact same outer surface.
Almost certainly not.
So.
I imagine they're just kind of probably appended to as they assimilate ships. They probably just take them apart and stick bits of them to the cube.
Yeah, there's a much smaller Borg cube in there that they started with. It's like Space Katamari.
I was going to say, it's like Space Rubber Band Ball.
Yeah, that's it.
They just keep building on it and building on it. Biggest Borg cube in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Weird Al song.
It's a Weird Al song. It's not about Borg cubes.
Some of these Borg cubes even have the little circular port where the little Borg sphere pops out.
Yep.
So let's take a look. The Borg sphere isn't next. First, we're going to look at the Borg Renegade ship, which Lore and Hugh? Who the hell was on this thing?
Hugh.
Yeah, Hugh was there.
Hugh was on this ship in Descent.
They totally stole that from somebody, though, right?
This looks to me like they just assimilated somebody else's ship, because it doesn't look like any other Borg tech we've seen.
Yeah. It just looks like a ship that they stuck Borg stuff onto.
It looks like no other species ship we've really seen either. It's a very...
Does that make any sense? There's no symmetry?
Yeah, I like the lack of symmetry in a ship.
You know what it is? This was actually like a cruise ship they stole.
Probably.
That's why it's so kind of weird. It's like down in that lower area is like all the athletics area, the gym and the pools and all the other stuff. The middle's like the rooms off to the other side are like
we got the
entertainment
room over
areas.
here.
Yep.
Look how big it is compared to the Enterprise.
Holy shit!
This could have been like a space station.
Yeah,
not deep at all.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, it's fucking enormous. Whatever it is, this was a Who Snuck ship too.
There you go.
They found it empty.
I imagine because it's got kind of this central area that makes sense, and then it's got these two not symmetrical arms sticking out, so it just looks like it's a boxer saying, "Put up your dukes, put up your dukes," and it's gonna punch you.
It's almost, in a way, like how the Battlestar Galactica there has the, like, hangar and launch area kind of hanging off the side. And then
I don't think I ever took a good look at the Galactica.
It's a pretty ship.
Unlike the Borg Renegade ship, which just looks like a big pile of trash floating around in space.
I like it, but it's definitely, like, you look at it and you go, I want to know what the deal with its creators were, because this is nuts.
I almost feel like it may have just been a single ship, and every time they needed something, they just attached it wherever there was room.
All
right, now let's take a look at the Borg sphere, which is like the Borg cube, but smaller and a sphere.
And it has a beehole.
Yeah, little puckered butthole.
And if you like the Borg cube and the Borg sphere, you're going to go fucking nuts for the Borg pyramid and the Borg cylinder.
Yep.
See, so it's funny you say that. The early design, some of the early design work they were doing for First Contact, since it was going to be the Queen's ship, they were considering, instead of it having be a cube,
a bee,
it was going to be an obelisk.
What is an obelisk?
Weird.
Yeah, like the Washington Monument.
Big phallic thing.
A big dildo in space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big old space dildo.
But it would have had like a like not a flat bottom, it also would have had a tapered bottom as well. But yeah, they were considering having a Borg,
double-ended space dildo.
a Borg obelisk. But then they said, "Fuck it, traditional cube."
Well, maybe the sphere is like the core of the cube.
That's kind of what I would imagine.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you spit it out, you're saving the core.
No, 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 no.
Well, especially
if the cube is kind of built as they go, maybe this is what it starts with, and this is where like the warp drive and stuff are.
That would make sense, because when they show Picard's like little dream in the start of the film, the interior has that big sort of like oh god,
curve?
Like torus in the middle. So you could see that being the middle of this thing that then the cube is kind of built onto. It would make sense.
Yeah. I just always like seeing Borg stuff.
Yeah, and they can use this to open up their, subspace who's a whats to do time travel with. So
yeah,
sure can.
All the tech is here.
All right. Speaking of First Contact, we see a Vulcan ship in First Contact. The internet tells me it's called the Taplana Hoth, which is the big fucking almost like a triangle kind of thing, like a Mitsubishi sign. That just comes down onto the planet and says, "Hey guys, we're here now. We recognize that you're people."
It looks very grumpy.
I like, and I wonder if this was part of the intention, is that, a lot of the crappy, UFO video that you see often has triangle-shaped ships in it, or triangle formations of lights, and they say, "Oh, that's the aliens." So I wonder if they intentionally made this one triangular in shape so that be like, oh, all of the aliens that have been visiting us must have been Vulcans all along.
Yeah, it's possible.
They've been keeping an eye on us.
Well, not all of them, because we know that, of course, Roswell was the Ferengi.
That's true.
But the rest were the Vulcans.
Yeah, but it's a ship. It's pretty small.
Yeah, it's got a good red color, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
It looks like a mech robot doing a split.
I also wonder if this may have just been like a landing craft.
Oh, do you think there's a bigger one in space?
Yeah, well, because there's no like visible nacelles or anything that look like warp engines.
Well,
Yeah,
what did Vulcan ships look like at the time? We'll see. We'll see in the future when we talk about Enterprise ships.
Yeah, I mean, they know they like their rings.
They do.
Their big warp ring instead of nacelles, but this doesn't have either of those designs.
No.
Yeah, so maybe it is a lander. I like that
would
idea.
make sense, yeah.
Yeah, it's got the little legs that stick out on the ground for you to land down.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, I know we're going to jump to the movies now, the TNG movies. Let's take a look at the Son'a ship.
The bitch ship.
Yeah, it's very jetpack looking. It kind of looks like wings that you'd put on if you were like dressing up like an angel or something.
It looks like a Triton, kind of.
I was gonna say, I'm getting kind of loot vibes off of it.
Kind of what?
Oh, yeah, like a lyre or a lute, yeah.
Lyre, yeah.
Like if you put strings between these like sticky outy bits.
Yeah, I meant lyre, though, you're right, not loot.
That's okay.
I want to know where the fucking Sona get all their money from. Are they like arms dealers? Like,
Lululemon.
Yeah.
I would assume they just...
marketing.
Yep,
they just...
all the MLMs.
You know, all the... Well, again, we know they've, like, conquered a couple of species and enslaved them. They
That's
probably just
true.
steal and sell all of their materials and minerals. They probably have a very close working relationship with the Ferengi.
So the old-fashioned way is what we're saying.
Yeah.
And yet, let's ally with them. Fools. Just fucking fools.
That's because the Admiralty is 99% evil.
Well, just Admiral Daughtry.
Daughtry.
Almost all the admirals we meet turn out to be pieces of shit, though.
True.
Right, so on this thing, do you guys remember where the front and where the back is?
I assume the pointy bits must be the front, because
Yeah.
that picture of the back there, those look like thrusters.
Oh, yeah.
I think the bridge is the little clitoris there that you can see.
Ooh. Oh
Holy
my god,
shit.
now I can't see anything else.
Somebody
Son of a
alert the
bitch.
media. Man finds clitoris. Oh, good. I broke him. Jesus.
Oh, that was good. You know, just end the episode there. We're not topping that.
No, there's more
Good night,
ships.
everyone. Damn it.
All right, let's look at another ship.
Nice try, though.
Let's find the clitoris on this ship. We're going to look at the Sona battle
No, it's
ship.
right there. It's right here. I see it. It's right in the middle. Jake, you can find it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh, damn it, Jake.
Yikes.
You failed the Empire.
Yeah, so in this picture on the left here, you can see the battleships. You can see some of the big cruisers in the distance doing their thing. And the battleships they're like little skinny like mosquitoes almost that come and pester you.
Yeah, but what I like is, you know, you can tell they're sort of designed by the same people that designed the bigger ships.
Yeah, they got the pointy fronts.
Yeah, but they are, like, scaled back. They're just there to bristle with weapons and fuck you up. They probably don't have the lovely command chaise longes that the big ones have.
Oh,
True.
that chair. I love that thing.
You did.
It certainly is a surface to sit on.
A surface to sit on. A Star Trek sit post.
Cool.
All right, we're melting, and so let's finish this up.
Oh, it's
Sona,
the Dilophosaurus, whatever the fuck.
yeah, the collector ship in Insurrection is really cool because it's got like those big solar sail kind of a look thing.
Mm-hmm.
When the sail isn't extended, it just looks like a shuttlecock.
You're right.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
It's like a shuttlecock and a 50s rocket ship had a baby.
Is a shuttlecock the thing that you
Badminton.
play badminton with? Thanks.
But then the wingies come out, and it's really pretty because it's gold and fluttery, like a big butterfly.
And then it's got that unfortunate interior that makes it look like they forgot to put in the background.
Yeah.
Because it's all just blue walls that look just like blue screens.
I feel like it kind of looks to me more like a jet ski or like a sea-doo than a shuttlecock. I'm not trying to be contrary.
It can be two things.
It can, you're right.
Yeah, I think
it's a
depending-
Rorschach test.
I think from different angles, you can. I could see where both of you are coming from, depending on the angle you're looking at it from.
It also kind of looks like a grappling hook.
Yeah, that's true. That is true too.
And a penis. No, sorry, now I've gone too far.
Where's the clitoris on this thing?
Right
And
at
it's
the
a
tip.
lot.
Right on the tip.
Yikes.
You can see it
All
down
right.
there.
Good.
And
I'm
like
glad
you
Oh
said,
we-
the
yeah, look at that little
Dilophosaurus.
button. You're probably right.
Yeah, I think they picked a good color for it because it looks very majestic when it's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It'll catch your attention against the vast void of space.
Well, except that whole bit of space was all red and shit because of the briar patch.
They're in the briar patch.
I don't remember what the briar patch is.
Yeah, it's alright. It's a terrible
What is this?
movie.
Is this from the F. Murray Abrams episode? I mean, no. That's
Yeah,
not
F.
his
Murray
name.
Abraham.
Yeah, he was bad man.
Yeah, in a
No.
Terrible film.
Batman.
It's not that bad. It's a pretty good film. It's
Ugh.
got a good looking ship.
I mean,
That's true.
he's great. He's always great.
It
not
is
a
definitely
not a great film.
Not the worst of the TNG films.
Agreed. Yeah,
I think it still
definitely
is
not
for
the
me.
worst, but it's not good.
Well, you're allowed to be a stubborn, wrong asshole. And that's all. That's the last ship that I have that we're going to look at for this week.
I feel like you're allowed to be a stubborn, wrong asshole should be like the byline of this podcast, kind of. Because that's all of us at one point or another,
True.
I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Except
true.
me, I'm so agreeable. Except about Neelix.
I hate to inform you, Caitlin.
Well, I disagree.
That stubbornness.
I know.
All right, so those are the ships from TOS and TNG that we're looking at for this week. Next week, there will be more from whatever the next series are, and we'll look at them. And again, I'm skipping a lot of ships because there's way too many, and also because I didn't get the Eagle Moss Alpha Quadrant ship book because it came out, and then Eagle Moss went away, so I couldn't get it. Whoopsie.
Are we gonna look at all the animated ships?
No.
Darn.
More like ships.
Hey.
I got their number.
You do.
Check us out, Ames.
Yeah, so next week, check us out for more ship chat. Check us out also for more Voyager chat, because we have more chat. Neat.
Ship chat.
Because we have more Voyager episodes next week. Episodes
Ooh.
Prey and Retrospect.
Ooh.
I almost wish that we had timed it so that Hunters and Prey would be in the same week, because that's funny.
Yeah.
But it's not how it worked out. Next week we're doing those, so definitely check us out next week for that.
Well, I also think it's kind of funny that the episode called Message in a Bottle was not the one that had all the fucking messages.
Well, the
Everybody
was
be
the
getting-
message.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, then they had an episode wherein everybody was getting letters from afar.
It's also not how message and bottle work either.
That's
right?
true, too, yeah. Like, they had a specific
Yeah,
place
Message in
they
a
were.
Bottle is definitely only by luck.
Yeah.
Bad title.
And it's
Regardless of the
goddamn
episode.
pollution. Stop throwing shit into the ocean.
Whoops. All right, so
Unless
check us.
you put a fish in the bottle. Because fish are supposed to be in the ocean.
No.
Yikes. Yeah, so check us out next week for that. In the meantime, you can be checking out all of our other past podcast or blah, 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 blah. Once more.
Yep.
It's so hot. Jesus
Yeah.
It
Christ.
is hot.
I'm a sweaty boy.
Yeah, make sure that you are up to date on all of our blogtivities over on the Tumblr. You can also check out our fanfics from last week that I know you all enjoyed very, very much. It was a good week for us, so make sure to read them. They're up on the Tumblr as well, sshbpodcast.com. You can listen to old podcast episodes on SoundCloud or wherever you listen to episodes of things. You can friend us on Facebook and Twitter, and you can join us next week. Until then, this has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
And this is always Chris.
All right, now what else can we shove a singularity into?
Yeah.
Clap.
I don't get it. Message in a bottle. Who's that, the police?
I think so.
That is.
Thank you.
Sting and the police.
Having seen the Dune movie, I now kind of can't get over the fact that Sting is hot. Like, I never realized Sting was hot.
Sting is
when I
hot.
Haven't
Yeah, I
you
had no
heard about
idea.
his sex? How he has
What's-
tantric sex for hours?
What?
You're not.
That was like
how
a-
have you
that-
not heard this? This is
that's
like
like
the
a
one
huge-
Sting fact.
I don't know anything about Sting.
Okay, so that if you know anything about Sting, the thing to know about Sting is that he practices this tantric sex thing where they just bang for hours without climaxing, apparently.
But is
That-
that the kind of sex the EMH practices?
We don't know.
Did he
Probably.
give himself Sting's dong?
If he was going to give
Sting
himself
dong.
anybody's dong, he'd go for Tommy Lee's.
I mean, here's the thing.
Sting dong, his pecker's long. Doo, doo, doo.
Oh, God.
That's good. That's closing credits material.